Hi, this is Wayne Valis. I'm here with Take 5, and I'm going to briefly interview my great pal, Jack Kalavritinos, who's one of the great political operators and strategists in Washington. I met Jack in 1992 during the Bush 41 campaign, and Jack was terrific, and he's had a great career. Tell us about how we met when we started and when you were doing tort reform.
Yeah, Wayne, thank you. This is turning the tables here. I mean, we met on that 92 campaign, which sadly for a great man like President Bush 41, it was completely dysfunctional. And one of the best parts of it was working with business leaders like you. And then the second best part was leaving the building and going out to Cleveland, Ohio to actually do real campaign work the last 2 weeks.
You got us Greeks for Bush, didn't you?
That's right. I worked on an odd mix of construction industry and Greek Americans for Bush. And actually, I got a lot of endorsements that's where I first learned about the power of trade associations and the endorsements of the various chapters. I think ABC and AGC, I had more endorsements, than anyone.
And then you got interested because we have too many lawyers in the United States.
Exactly.
And we had too many lawsuits. This country has got 3/4 of all the lawsuits in the world are all in the United States, but you worked on trying to get protection for innocent businesses.
You're 100% right. I literally crossed the street and got hired by Mark Casso at ACEC, American Council of Engineering Companies. And my first legislative issue was tort reform and putting together this survey that showed how engineers were on the front lines of getting sued for drunk driving cases when people would sue the contractor and engineers. And he said, you ought to go to this coalition. He's really a great guy, Wayne Valis. He runs Citizens for Civil Justice Reform, and it's a broad-based group. And they appreciate our voice as, the engineering industry. And
the next thing I knew, Jack Kalavritinos was in the White House at the Office of Management and Budget. And he told me, well, I have this White House job.
You're right.
And I said, well, will you still take my phone calls? And Jack said, Wayne, I'll always have time for the little people. But tell me about your White House experiences, Jack.
I never said that, but actually my friends said, what are you doing? You're not a numbers guy going to OMB, but I actually worked on the management side under Mitch Daniels, where we actually created a red, yellow, and green scorecard to rate our own departments on whether they were doing a good, bad, or fair job on a whole bunch of things. But I would then wander down to the first floor of the old executive office building and go into your old office, the Office of Public Liaison, and I went up to a guy that was a Karl Rove special assistant and said, look, Greek Independence Day is coming around the corner, and do you guys have your list? Do you know who you're going to be inviting? And they're like, we can barely think about tomorrow. So that was actually my first thing in the Public Liaison Office, which for the next several years, I was the adjunct member of the team helping them put together that annual event.
Then you had a stint in the private sector again. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, thank you. I then went to a company called Covidien, which was a medical device company, ended up being bought by Medtronic, did that for several years, got involved in their trade association, AdvaMed, had worked at DOL and HHS before I made
these were all cutting-edge medical technologies, weren't they?
Oh, my gosh, it was fantastic. Boston-based company. We were up on the Green Monster, our name. No one knew the name Covidien, and now it sounds like COVID. But that was a great job. Really learned the healthcare industry from the inside.
And you parlayed the healthcare work that you did into a stint at the Health and Human Services Department when we had, we still have kind of a healthcare crisis in the United States. It's very expensive. So tell us about your HHS work.
I'll wrap up because I know we want to keep these to 5 minutes, but I will say, Wayne, that it was an honor to work on the transition and then be one of the first two people together with Anna Abram, who was Senator Burr's healthcare advisor.
Worked with Secretary Azar.
Yes, I first went under Gottlieb to the FDA and was part of his transition team for his entree there and his amazing work, and then worked for Azar as his head of external and intergovernmental affairs. Left before COVID, so all that the department was involved with in terms of the creation of Operation Warp Speed and all of the craziness, I missed, but it was quite an opportunity being part of Secretary Azar's team.
We only have a few seconds left. Tell us about what you're doing now to serve good public policy in America.
No, thank you, Wayne. I've started JK Strategies. I'm talking to and advising clients on their public affairs needs, both government affairs with a focus on healthcare and construction, but also putting together communications efforts as well. So thank you for that.
We'll know you'll be a big success. Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne.